Here today, I'm proud to welcome our senator, who has been doing an outstanding job. And I want to welcome him back to his home of DeKalb County to champion his successful work in the Senate to work across and aside the aisle to fund law enforcement and mental health resources. Oftentimes, our law enforcement, sheriff, and emergency personnel are the first to respond to emergencies involving a mental health crisis. And that's where Senator Ossoff leadership comes in. Senator Ossoff's bipartisan bill, which has passed both House of Congress and heads to the President's desk, will fund our local law enforcement agencies and boost funding for mental health issues. His important bill will fund training for first responder, crisis intervention teams, mental health courts, and other programs that will help law enforcement assist individuals with experiencing mental health. I'm very familiar with it, being the sheriff of DeKalb County, with over 25% of my population being classified as mentally ill. We want to thank Senator Ossoff for the leadership and willingness to work across the aisle to get this bill done, and we look forward to it being signed into office. So once again, I want to say thank you to our senator, Senator Ossoff.
Law enforcement officials who are here today, the agencies represented, please join me in giving a round of applause for our law enforcement personnel. Thank you for taking care of us. Thank you for protecting our communities. I want to thank the sheriff's representative. I want to thank DeKalb County Police Department for their hospitality today as well. Members of the commission, state representative, and of course my good friend, Congressman Hank Johnson. Thank you all for being here. It's my pleasure to report that this legislation has passed the U.S. Senate. It has passed the U.S. House. It has been bipartisan in both the Senate and the House. And at a time when there's a lot of division in politics and in government, I've been able to bring Democrats and Republicans together to fund law enforcement and mental health programs here in Georgia and across the country with the successful passage of this legislation. I expect it will be signed by the President in coming days. And this is so important for the community here in Metro Atlanta and for communities across the state of Georgia. We want to make sure that our first responders have all of the training, resources, and support that they need when they encounter somebody in a mental health crisis, for that situation to be resolved in a way that is safe for everybody. That is safe for the individual who's in crisis, that's safe for our first responders, whether they be law enforcement or emergency medical personnel. And we want to ensure that amidst a mental health crisis in this country, we are adequately resourcing and robustly resourcing mental health services for those who encounter the criminal justice system. So this legislation is all about funding law enforcement and funding mental health services in our communities. I want to emphasize again that this is not just an idea. This is not just legislation that's been offered. This is legislation that's passed the U.S. Senate. It's passed the U.S. House with Congressman Johnson's help. It's been bipartisan in the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. And again, this is about ensuring that law enforcement and mental health programs in our communities have the funding that they need to ensure public safety, the safety of members of our community who are in mental health crisis, and the safety of our first responders. So with all of that said, I'm happy to take questions from members of the press on this or any subject.